You are now tuned in to a brand new episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sap. Well, we got to talk about it. We got to keep it a buck. Shedeur Sanders' rough start to his backup role today against the Baltimore Ravens. But Browns reporter blasted Kevin Stefanski right after the game for the lack of preparation of Shedeur Sanders. But we'll talk about it all next, right here. Well, guys, man, let's keep it a buck, man. Shedeur Sanders had a rough start to his NFL career and his backup duties today against the Baltimore Ravens, where they dropped one against the Ravens, 23-16. And Dillon Gabriel played the first half, and toward the end of the half, I think in a play that potentially might have put Dillon Gabriel in concussion protocol was when he was trying to scramble and he got sacked and he kind of lost the ball, but his head hit the front of the turf. So in halftime, he didn't even come out of the locker room. So they said he was in concussion protocol. So the second half, Shedeur Sanders entered the game. So when Shedeur Sanders entered the game, Shedeur Sanders started off with 2 passes, which he kind of moved the ball. But then after that, he took 2 sacks, threw an interception. He threw the ball 16 times, 16 for 47 yards and a pick. But despite of how bad he played, there was some upside in what we saw in Shedeur Sanders. Now, one thing that stands out and that is very key is the post-game press conference when Kevin Stefanski basically answered the question that we all wanted answered from day one. Because there was a lot of noise out there, a lot of speculation, and a lot of rumors about is Shedeur Sanders even getting first team reps? And I know these people on the YouTube street, the sports media and YouTube was trying to figure out. There was headlines, Shedeur Sanders still not getting first team reps. There was a couple YouTube channels that was keeping it 100 saying, I don't think Shedeur Sanders is getting first team reps. Well, we got our answer today. Kevin Stefanski came out in the post-game press conference and he basically said that this was the first time that Shedeur Sanders has thrown the ball to the ones ever since training camp, OTAs, and practice. So we got our answer that we've been looking for. Shedeur Sanders was never getting first team reps with the Cleveland Browns. Now, Kevin Stefanski did tell us that this was an open quarterback competition. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to help all their players, all their rookies. You know, they're trying to develop the 2 quarterbacks, the 2 rookie quarterbacks. Well, basically, from what Kevin Stefanski just said at the post-game press conference after the game, Shedeur Sanders is not getting no development. Shedeur Sanders is looking for development on his own. And then we heard from what Shedeur Sanders said at the post-game press conference after the first time he touched the NFL field in the regular season. He was grateful. He was appreciative of the opportunity, but he let it all be known after Kevin Stefanski came out and said that Shedeur Sanders hasn't been getting first-team reps. What did Shedeur Sanders say? This is my first time throwing the ball to Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, and guys like that, and Hurl Fanning Jr. But you've seen clips and warm-ups where they're just warm-ups. So for all the content creators that was putting out there, like showing, footage of Shedeur Sanders throwing the ball to David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy, they was just warm-ups. They wasn't reps. They wasn't plays. They wasn't under center where you got the first team offense out there and he's delivering the ball to them. They were just warm-up drills. That's what we was catching. That's what y'all was showing. Kevin Stefanski just confirmed that he wasn't getting first team reps. So right after the game, the Browns reporters, they blasted Kevin Stefanski because Kevin Stefanski has always been telling us that in situations like this, you're one play away. It's almost like next man up. But for you telling us that you developing these quarterbacks, that's another lie that's been exposed. You haven't developed Shedeur at all. But we're going to listen to what the Browns reporter was talking about. And he kind of let Kevin Stefanski have it. And he blasted him. And for the lack of preparation of Shedeur Sanders, because you're always one play away with a quarterback. And to have your backup with no preparation, no first team reps, or any continuity with nobody on the first team, even your center, oh man, he blasted him. But before we get off into that, we partnered up with Underdog Fantasy, and this is a word from our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy sports. Let me tell you about the easiest way to get in on some WNBA and NBA action. Find your player, pick higher or lower, win you some extra cash. Pick between 2 to 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and win some serious cash. Use my promo code SBD23 and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now that it's football time, follow Simply Ball Dropping as I share my picks. Like I said, pick your player, choose your amount, win money. Make picks, win cash. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for the partnership with us. And thank you for using promo code SBD23 on Underdog Fantasy.
Well, guys, with that being said, let's listen to what the Browns reporters was talking about right after the game. Let's take a listen.
Not, Shedeur Sanders will go ahead and start next week in Vegas against the Raiders. But it's about Shedeur Sanders. Let's be honest about it. That's where all the conversation is going to be, how he looked, some positives, some negatives. You can kind of see why they weren't in a rush to put him on the field. I think a lot of second guessing about why Kevin Stefanski did not make sure he got some first team reps. Shedeur had mentioned in the postgame, hey, this is the first time I threw to these guys all year because I never got those reps. So
first time ever with Ethan Postic.
Yeah, that too. So not only throwing to Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku and those guys, but working with the offensive line and whatnot. And, Kevin mentioned after the game that you got a rookie quarterback as a starter, got to get him all the reps as possible. And if you've been watching Dillon Gabriel, and judging by fan reaction, you have, it's not gone well. And so it's understandable why they need to focus and practice and making sure he's getting all those reps. The problem is, though, when you have another rookie like Shedeur who is a play away, and, early on, it was a little frazzled, a little scattered out there. Let's be honest about it. And then he settled in a little bit. So I think that if he is able to get those reps this week, assuming Dillon Gabriel will not be available, I think that you're going to see a more settled version of him out there against the Raiders next week.
Well, just face it. I can go all the way back to Dr. Dave Mays. If you're the backup quarterback in Cleveland and the starting quarterback isn't getting wins, that the backup quarterback is always going to be the most popular guy in town. I'm just kind of wondering where this is going to go. They'll probably have to elevate Bailey Zappi next week if Gabriel is still in protocol. I'm starting to wonder, just if a guy is one snap away, should he not have had 5% of the snaps? Because I think that's what the critics are going to go after Kevin Stefanski on. Is like, a guy's one snap away. How could he? I can understand not being totally prepared, but he should have been ready.
Well, I'll go a step further. They didn't have an emergency quarterback today.
Right.
League rules mandate that your third quarterback, your emergency quarterback, is on your active 53. Bailey Zappi's on the practice squad. So even if they had elevated him for this game to have 3 quarterbacks, Shedeur would have needed, to still be your emergency quarterback, the third quarterback, because Bailey would have to be number 2 because he's in elevation. You can't elevate from the practice squad for your emergency quarterback. That's just the way it plays out. So, and Stefanski did mention after the game, they will look at the quarterback situation this week as far as the depth and figure out if they're comfortable with what they have, or do they need to bring in another guy to help get them through this. But it is unfortunate that Dillon Gabriel got concussed, or I should say he got put in the concussion protocol after getting checked near halftime there. And, Shedeur, he had the whole second half to operate. But I do find some fault in that. I don't feel like organizationally they've done either of these rookie quarterbacks any favors.
True. Now, you heard what the guys was talking about, lack of preparation. And if you're one play away, your backup quarterback got to be prepared. Your backup quarterback is not getting no participation in practice, not getting no reps, and they just put him on blast. They finding Kevin Stefanski at fault for the lack of preparation. And you're one play away from the quarterback position, because the quarterback position is a rough position. You get hit, you can take an awkward fall, you slide wrong, the guys can tee off on you, and you can be put in concussion protocol. And that's what happened to Dillon Gabriel. Now you bring Shedeur Sanders in there with the lack of preparation, no reps to continuity with anybody on the first team, but all is not down for Shedeur Sanders. We seen the upside. We seen, like the guy said, when he settled in the 2-minute drive, I thought Shedeur threw some good balls, but in that second half of that game, Zachary Orr of the Baltimore Ravens blitzed Shedeur Sanders 68% of the time. But you see, when you have a clean pocket and you have the ability to deliver the ball, you saw what he threw a 25-yard dart to Harold Fannin Jr. to start off the 2-minute drive. But outside of that, I mean, he threw some good balls. Gabe Laradan could have came down with a touchdown. Awuzie, great defense. That one play to thrash in the back of the end zone, Shedeur should have took a little bit off of it, but you see that he made attempts to throw the ball down the field. The offense just looked a little different with Shedeur behind the helm, throwing the ball down the field, at least trying to give the receivers an opportunity to make plays, and the tight ends. He wasn't throwing no hospital balls. He wasn't throwing the ball at nobody's feet. He was pushing the ball down the field. So, I mean, even though he looked bad, but there's some upside. For somebody to say that you ain't thrown the ball to none of your receivers that you had to go out there and throw the ball to, I mean, he looked bad, but once again, there's some upside to that. You've seen his potential to drive the ball down the field. I mean, when he got to make the throw, he can make the throw. It wasn't like Dillon, where it's a check down, throwing balls at people's feet, throwing the ball out of the over people's heads, over on the sideline. I just saw a different offense, man. Give Shedeur Sanders, just like the reporter said, give him a week of preparation, a week of practice. He'll look different against the Raiders if he gets a chance to play. But if Dillon Gabriel clears the concussion protocol, Kevin Stefanski will be doing him a disservice by putting him back in the game so quick. You see what happened to Jackson Dart last week? He set out this week because he's in concussion protocol. Them concussions are tricky. But like I said, man, we're going to keep that same energy, and we're going to keep it a buck. Shedeur looked bad, but he still looked like that's the quarterback that Cleveland needs to go with. I see everybody in the comment section, #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you'll know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot, tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.